Okay, right. Am I in the frame? Yes. Look at me. There we go. Put that back. I'm in the frame. I was in focus, excuse me. Excuse me. God, we had this. We were doing so well. Come back. Come back. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. There we go. Okay, cool. I'm in the frame. I'm in focus. You can't see that my room is a mess. All right. I think we're ready to go. Okay, so I know it's been quite a long time since I was last in front of the camera.
Where have you been?
If you didn't already know, The Chamber of Secrets is the best Harry Potter film out of all of them, case closed. Where was I? I am still a student up here in Manchester. I know I say that a lot, but it's what I do. 2 years down, 1 year to go, so I haven't finished moaning about it yet. This year so far it's just been busy. January, I spent January revising for my exams. I sat my exams. I spent most of February working in the labs, which left me with 3 weeks in March to write a dissertation and a lab report. I don't remember what happened to April, and now it's May. Brilliant. But this whole time I have still been working a lot with my camera. I've just been working more on professional projects for other people whilst I figure out what exactly I want to make and put here. I have got a few ideas though. So today I just wanted to share some exciting, well, I think it's quite exciting, news. This video is the first ever video that I'm shooting on my brand new Sony A7III setup. After 18 months and over 100 videos on my Sony a5100, I decided it was time to upgrade to something bigger, better, and just more professional as I continue to take on these more professional projects. I'm not going to drag you through all of the nitty gritty techie details. If you want the nitty gritty techie details, feel free to look them up somewhere else if that really interests you. But today I just wanted to share a few of the important features that influenced my own decision and whether I think the a5100, which I had before, is still worth a look if you're new to making videos or you do want to start your own YouTube channel. Okay, so first up, sensor size. The Sony a5100 came with a cropped sensor, but the A7 III, has a full frame sensor. What does that mean? Let me explain real quick. So lenses, I need to have a lens in my hand. This would make this demo so much better. So much better. Wait. Okay, so lenses project light as circles, and inside the camera this light hits a rectangular chip which records the image. So on a full frame sensor, this rectangle is the maximum size that it possibly can be within this circle of light. So the image, it's one, literally bigger, but two, you're also maximising the amount of information that you can record in a single image. On a cropped sensor, what you get is that the rectangle, the chip, is literally physically smaller, but what it does to compensate, it not only crops your image, but it also then magnifies it. So What you get with a full frame sensor is higher resolution, more detail, more dynamic range. You've got more scope to play with your image in post, in editing, but also something that I would really like to start doing, a full frame sensor, because you've got more information in that image. You can print it larger without losing the quality. So yeah, that is probably the most important thing for me at the moment. Number 2, video recording. I think the a5100 produced some great videos. Upgrading it with better lenses definitely made a difference, but it did come with a couple of critical design flaws. Number 1, there was no option for an alternative audio input or microphone. So when you're recording, the audio for your clips all came from the internal microphone, which is fine, but if you're outdoors, if you're somewhere where it's noisy, if it's windy, or if you're just not close enough to whoever's talking, the audio isn't going to be as crisp and as clear as you want it to be. Second, after about 7 or 8 minutes of continuous shooting, the a5100 does overheat and shut itself down. Now, if you're a vlogger or you're just making, some short edits, you shouldn't need to be filming continuously for that long anyway. But if you wanted to film like a sit down talking video like this one, you do run into a few challenges there. The a7 III, unsurprisingly, beats a5100 in pretty much every aspect of video shooting. I can record in true 4K. In full HD, I can record at 120 frames per second, which in post, in editing, I can bring down to 4 times slow motion. I've got the option for an external microphone, and I haven't run into any problems yet, but according to other A7 users, you can record continuously for more like half an hour before it starts to overheat, so yeah. Number 3, autofocus. When I was looking for a new camera, initially, I always knew that I wanted to stay with Sony, no question. Initially though, I was looking at one of the other models, the A7S Mark II. But one of the biggest problems that people were finding with that camera in particular, its autofocus was a lot slower than it should have been. Having fast and accurate autofocus is really important if you're shooting at events or you're somewhere where you can't take the time to perfectly set up a shot before you record it. If you're having to do everything manually, you run the risk of getting home and finding out that all of your footage is out of focus, or you just miss the moment completely because you were too busy pressing buttons instead of actually recording something. So on the a5100, which I had before, I really liked how you could pull the focus using the touchscreen whilst you're recording. Literally tap on anything in the frame and the focus goes there. On the a7 Mark III, it has inherited the far superior autofocus system of the Sony A9, yeah, definitely going to be a game changer there. If there is one thing that I'm going to miss about my baby a5100, it is its flip screen. The screen on the a7 Mark III, it does tilt, it does rotate up, but it doesn't full on 180 degrees like selfie mode, if that's what you want to call it. If you're a vlogger or you record yourself a lot like I do, having that fully flipping screen is really helpful. Number 1, to check that you're actually in the frame and where you want to be, and number 2, that you're in focus. It wasn't a deal breaker though. A flip screen isn't essential. I've actually set my phone up wirelessly as a monitor there. So again, not a deal breaker, something I can work around, but if you are a vlogger, you're definitely going to appreciate having that flip screen. So to sum all of that up, I've been chatting for a while. Would I still recommend the Sony a5100 in 2018? Yes. Yes, I would. I was actually pleasantly surprised to find out that on the high street, it still costs the same as it did 18 months ago to buy it brand new. Great to know that it's held its value so well even after all of this time. I think it is a great budget-friendly, it's a beast of a vlogging camera. It's great to learn the ropes on. You can easily upgrade it by buying different lenses, by buying better lenses. But, you know, just be aware that you might run into a few limitations later on with things like overheating, lack of slow motion, and the no external audio. But again, it depends what you're using it for. If you are just starting out, if you want to try shooting some of your own vlogs, I think it is an absolutely amazing camera to start with. For me though, buying the A7 Mark III, it wasn't just about the fancy features. I mean, fancy features are great. It's an absolutely outstanding camera, but it wasn't cheap. It was not cheap. So this is my way of committing to building myself a future in professional photography, in professional videography, and making it work, because now I literally can't afford to quit. Alright, for anyone who's still here, thank you. I know this video was a bit different to some of the videos that I've made before, but if you did like it and you did think it was helpful, please do give it a thumbs up. Really helps me out a lot. And you know, feel free, leave a comment with any other topics that you'd like me to talk about, or any other questions that you'd like me to ask in another video. And before I go, just make sure if you're subscribed, if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Did I do it? I think I did it. Ooh.